Guys, I'm really thrilled to welcome to the podcast Dr. Trent Talbot. He's the CEO and founder of Brave Books, a conservative children's book publishing company started, a year ago, 2021. And the idea for Brave Books is to create children's books that install pro-American, pro-God, and anti-woke values. Trent, it's a real pleasure to have you. Thanks to you, Debbie and I are now having our debut officially today as joint authors or co-authors of a children's book. Talk a little bit first about Brave Books and how you got into this, and then we'll talk about our book, which is called Freedom Day, The Asher Way. All right.
Well, first, we at Brave are honored that you and Debbie are joining us. We're so excited. We've been big fans for a long time. Brave, we're pushing back in the culture war. We think that there is a real war going on for the hearts, minds, and souls of our kids, and that culture is raising more children than parents are today. And we think that we need to enter that space and fight back and to fight culture with culture. And we're doing that through books. We think that books have a special way of sparking the imagination of children to get their attention, and it allows parents to use stories as a framework for having important conversations with their kids.
I mean, this book, Freedom Day, The Asher Way, a couple of things about it. I mean, first of all, Debbie and I were just stunned by the beautiful illustrations that accompany the book. It just is a pleasure to hold and a pleasure to read. And the theme of the book is socialism. So in some ways, it's loosely based on, a much longer and more dense book I wrote, United States of Socialism. Debbie, of course, has firsthand experience of socialism in Venezuela. And what I like about it is the way in which you've sort of taken our narrative and transformed it into a very disarming and simple story that children can fully grasp. Just the concept of taking from someone something that they have earned or trying to fix a price regardless of what costs are. What's the formula for putting these books out there?
Well, first is to partner with people like yourself who are experts on the topic, and then, we had conversations about, we have a real challenge in teaching children a complex topic like this. And so, our philosophy is that children learn best through story. And so we take the core elements of socialism, for example, and we boil that down, and then we incorporate it into the story. And then once they see the story and they get lost in the universe with the characters, then it gives parents a real opportunity to have a conversation about that topic. I think that without stories, parents just go to their default, which is speaking on a conceptual level, and that loses children every time. And so the story is how we capture their imagination. And then in the back of the book, we have games and discussion questions, which allow the parents to have a more in-depth, more specific conversation on the topic in particular. And we break down, why is it not fair? And it really gets kids thinking about the topic. So that's awesome.
I'd like to just read a couple of lines which gives you a flavor of how this goes. So there's a whole kind of little world here, and it's Freedom Island, and you've got this guy Asher and everything was going well until Asher, who's the mayor, realized that the coins he was using for Freedom Day were almost gone. But just then, he caught a wonderful whiff of the cows steaming apple pies. And then I like this line in parentheses, cows make excellent pies. And then, Asher thought, we have to have this for the festival. Wouldn't everyone like it better if pies didn't cost so much? And so he makes a new rule. Now, the point I want to get here is that that's the socialist way of thinking. Here you have these pies, they cost, whatever they cost, and your guy's like, how about if we, the government, sets the price of pies? And then the story kind of takes off from there, and you kind of shows the chaos all over Freedom Island when everybody's trying to accommodate to this new rule. So to me, it's an ingenious way to reach young minds. Anyway, we're very proud to be associated with this. Let's talk about your kind of strategy for distributing these books. Talk about the strategy more broadly, then we'll talk about how people can check out this book.
Okay. Well, yeah, our strategy, we partner with people like yourself to help get the word out. Yeah, I was an ophthalmologist before I started Brave Books, and that's a big financial risk to take, just hoping that it would catch on. So part of our strategy from the beginning was to partner with conservative icons like yourself and to help raise awareness about what we're doing. And then we don't go through Amazon. Everything's through bravebooks.com. And we're a book of the month model in which parents subscribe, and every single month they get a new book that teaches a new conservative lesson or value. And we cover things like gender identity, the sanctity of life, socialism, just core values like honesty, hard work, freedom of speech, Second Amendment. And every single book, it's a really fun story that kids just love. And we're also telling an overarching narrative. So every story takes place on Freedom Island with the same cast of characters, Team Brave, and kids just fall in love with the characters. They really don't like the villains like Culture the Vulture, Blackheart, and so they have a lot of fun with it. And we hear from all of our subscribers that the best day of the month is whenever a new book comes in.
Well, this is so cool because I remember when we first talked, Debbie and I we had this idea of kind of creating our own menagerie of characters, and you guys were like, no. We actually we've already done this work. We've created a whole ecosystem, so to speak. And so what we want to do is take your message, your theme, your story, embed it in this kind of continuing ecosystem. So there's a familiarity for kids. They're meeting the same characters, the same kind of world in book after book. And it allows them imaginatively to live there, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And with their first book, they get a big poster. It's like a 4x6 poster, and it's a map of Freedom Island. It's got all the places on Freedom Island to visit. You got Rushington, which is where your book took place, Mount of Valor, which is a volcano, Shivermore, all these fun spots, and kids just love visiting new locations, putting their stickers on the map, to show that they visited, and so they love it.
Trent, this is great work you're doing, and I want to commend you because we often talk about transforming culture, and people will write op-eds about the need for it. But one thing we like to be a part of, and of course like to feature on the podcast, is people who are actually on the supply side, coming up with new ideas for comedy, new ideas for children's books, kind of doing the task that needs to be done on our side in the kind of perilous moment we find ourselves in this culture. So let me emphasize, the website is bravebooks.com, just bravebooks.com. Our book is called Freedom Day, The Asher Way, co-authored by Dinesh and Debbie D'Souza. And it's really fun. We've enjoyed being part of it. I hope you'll enjoy checking it out. And check out the other books also on Brave Books. Hey, Trent, thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks so much, Dinesh.